Alright, so now we're going to do a little demo of the Teensy Core user interface. This is going to be a really minimal interface, so it's going to have not a lot of functionality. Anyway, when you open it up, it will try to connect to your spectrometer, and if it does, it'll say connected on, and it'll tell you the COM port number. All right, so we're all connected there. Let's see what happens when we hit the start run button. And if things work right, like they should, you then get the spectrum, and this is the spectrum of a compact fluorescent lamp. Okay, you'll notice there's an integration time listed down here that says 2, and that is in milliseconds. And you can see that at 2 milliseconds, we're getting between 30 and 40,000 counts of intensity on the y-axis. Okay, let's see what happens when we turn this down. So let's say 1. You just click on that box there, you backspace and type in the 1, and then you come over and you start to run again. Okay, so we used to see 30,000. Now we're down to 13,000 at this point. Okay, so that means we have less intensity. Now you can't go up like infinitely. Let's see what happens when we tell it we want 5 milliseconds of integration time. When we do that, we get a bigger number here, but you can see that we are maxing out our detector, which is a charge coupled device, right? So when you see flattened out peaks like this one and this one over here, that means you're not getting data. That data that you're recording is not particularly real, and that has implications for the width of the lines and other things as well. So it's best to get your really sharp data points or sharp lines and have a lower intensity number. So let's back that down, and I believe 2.5 is what we're looking for. I should also say that the maximum number that your A to D converter will give you is about 65,000. So at 50,000, yeah, we're probably maxing out the intensity. We're saturating our detector. All right, so at 2.5 milliseconds integration time, we have a little over 40,000 counts, and that looks pretty good. All right, so we showed you the connect button. If we connect, nothing really appears to be happening, but it's actually checking to make sure you're still connected on, or well, you're still connected on that COM port. We've shown you the start button. We have demonstrated changing the integration time, and the only other button up here, it says save, and that allows you to save the data as a comma separated value file. All right, so you click on that button and it opens up a box that opens up a screen, or whatever you want to call this, allows you to give it a name, and let's call this data 1, and we'll just hit the save, and let's make sure we know where we're at. So we are Teensy Core data, and I believe that's on my desktop. Hit save. All right, now we can open that using any kind of spreadsheet program that will open a CSV file. And I'm using LibreOffice, so let's go in here, and where is open? Open remote. Damn it. Let's just see what happened. Okay, now we can open. All right, so here it is, desktop, Teensy GUI Core, Teensy GUI, Teensy Core data, and data 1 is where we were. Okay, we are opening with comma separated values, and now we can select our 2 columns and say insert chart, and hopefully we will be allowed to pick out the XY scatter and only the lines finished, and that's what the data look like. All right, so that is the view of the data of the. Anyway, let's take a look at the code. All right, Teensy GUI code. All right, so the code it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs. The main tab is the Teensy GUI core tab, and all these programs have to be in the same folder. The folder is called Teensy GUI core, and this program was written in processing. It's for processing 4.0 B1. And what do we want to tell you about that? Well, to start with, we have to have some imported files, and to import a file, you go into Sketch and Import Library, and if you don't have these libraries already, you go to Add Library, and you need the Control P5 and the Graphic Library. Okay, so let's close that, and another thing you'll need to know is that this float ABC, you have 3 values there, and these 3 values are used to convert pixel number to wavelength, right? So if you make your own spectrometer, you're going to have to come up with those ABC values, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. Okay, so we have Teensy core. This has a lot of our variables declared. There's a setup that has the size of the user interface and the size of the plot and some other stuff in there. Then we have our draw method, and you'll see there's very little in either of these setup or draw methods. Instead, what you'll see is something like a setup charts method, and setup charts is going to be on the charts tab, right? There's a controller setup, and that'll be under the controllers tab. There's a setup COM port, and that's going to be in the COM port tab. Connect is in the COM port tab too. All right. So if you don't know where one of these things is, what I try to do, I try to put a little comment at the top that says that this has the setup COM port method and the connect method, right? Charts has a number of methods: setup charts, wavelength calculation, set axis, plot charts, and etc. Right? So there's a lot of stuff in like the serial tab, and I probably should clean it up a little bit before I put it on GitHub. There's a bunch of stuff in the controllers tab. All right, so let's go to the top there. It has the setup controllers method, and it sets up the buttons and the text box. There are methods that run when you click on a button. Those methods are down at the bottom, right? So if you click on the save method, you click on the save button, it runs the save method, which just says select output, and this file to save, that's what your that's a method that is in processing, and then this file selected method is discussed down here, was defined down there. Okay. All right, the start run is up here, and like that. Okay, so like I said, this is a fairly minimal user interface. All it does is give you the raw data back out, and it only allows one single spectrum to be collected. But we will have other user interface videos and other user interface code available, and we will have demos for that as well. All right, so that's what I got to say, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you find it useful.